Beneath the sheriff of nowhere, leaving common strange crimes. First of all, nobody lives in nowhere. Nobody pays his taxes. Nobody volunteers at the local animal shelter. Nevertheless, nobody likes a body. What have you been up to, nobody?
We got him.
Who?
Bigfoot.
He doesn't exist.
You say that now, but I think you'll be saying differently when you meet him.
Harassment of Bigfoot or any other undiscovered subspecies is a direct violation of the law.
I thought you said he don't exist.
I did.
Seems a little silly to make a law prohibiting something that doesn't exist.
Fine. Take me to Bigfoot, and we'll release him into the wild, and then you'll face no charges. Nobody led me into the forest, beyond the big clump of trees. It's where he said he spotted Bigfoot first. Then he gestured with his hand and said that he had Bigfoot tied up just beyond the bridge. What bridge?
Bridge. Bridge that isn't there.
How can we cross it if it's not there? Nobody started across the bridge. The boards groaned as each step landed in the night. I swallowed hard and placed my boot on the edge of the first wooden board. We kept on like that, slowly and lightly pacing our feet as the boards protested loudly for what seemed like an eternity. I watched nobody reach the other side and climbed to safety. I straightened up and paused and let out a breath. The current of the water was rushing in the board. I wondered how cold the water must be this time of year. What was I thinking? Following nobody into the woods? All after a creature that doesn't exist? I was interrupted by a loud crack. I started running. I scrambled up onto the grassy bank as the last foothold of the bridge started to slip away. The bridge that isn't there had fallen into the river, leaving no evidence of its existence.
Aha!
A big hairy creature lay there in the shack, entangled in a net. It kicked its feet furiously and tried to get free. I took a few steps back. We have to let it go. The law says the harassment of undiscovered species is prohibited.
Your law says undiscovered, but I discovered Bigfoot, so I didn't.
Hold on! How can you harass something if you haven't discovered it first?
Exactly.
I opened my mouth as if to say something, but no words came out. To say I was feeling a little mixed up, that's an understatement. I pulled out my knife to cut Bigfoot free from the net. As I approached him, I watched the angry look in his eyes turn wild. How many seconds would I have to get the heck out of there once I got this beast free? I watched nobody step behind a tree trunk from my peripheral. My muscles were so tense that they started to ache. As the first rope snapped loose, so did my last trace of sanity. Was this really happening? My hands moved faster now, out of control. When the last of the net fell away, my body hit the ground. I'm not sure if it did so willingly, or if I was pushed, but all I know is it hurt. From behind the leaves we heard as Bigfoot sniffed the cold night's air and clawed the ground with his monstrous feet. I wish I'd taken a better look at the thing before we hid behind the bush. I suddenly wondered if letting it loose was a good idea. Maybe nobody was onto something. Pushing this feeling aside, I remembered my duty to the law as a sheriff of Rowland. I had to let Bigfoot go. It was against the law to harass him or any other undiscovered subspecies. It's my job to enforce the law. We did the right thing by setting him free, no matter how strange it might seem. Right? Nobody? Nobody? Nobody. I'm still quite shaken by this night, and I wonder if nobody is too. I wonder if that's why he left. I haven't seen nobody around nowhere since. With nobody gone, the whole town feels different. I feel alone. Nobody would believe me if I said nobody took me to the very edge of nowhere, across the bridge that isn't there, to see Bigfoot all tangled up and stowed in a little shack, and then he's still out there somewhere, wandering in the woods. There's not a single piece of evidence. Of course, nobody would believe me. Nobody was there.